The summer of 1914 in Sarajevo was a vibrant tapestry of life. The city, nestled in a valley with the Miljacka River flowing through its heart, was abuzz with anticipation. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was scheduled to visit, a grand occasion meant to showcase the empire's presence and power in Bosnia and Herzegovina, annexed just 6 years prior. The atmosphere, however, was not entirely celebratory. Beneath the surface of imperial pomp, a simmering resentment brewed among Serbian nationalists who viewed Austro-Hungarian rule as an occupation. A group of young men, fueled by this fervent nationalism and inspired by the idea of a unified South Slav state, hatched a daring and desperate plan. They were members of Young Bosnia, a revolutionary organization, and their target was the Archduke himself. Their arsenal was rudimentary, a few pistols and a handful of bombs smuggled across the border with great difficulty. Their hope was to ignite a spark, to strike a blow against the empire and awaken a spirit of rebellion that would sweep across the Balkans. The day of the visit, June 28th, dawned clear and warm. The streets of Sarajevo were lined with onlookers, a mix of curious citizens and uniformed officials. The Archduke and his wife, Sophie, Duchess of Hohenberg, rode in an open-topped car, a symbol of their confidence and perhaps a touch of carelessness. The procession moved slowly, allowing the crowds a good view of the imperial couple. The first attempt on the Archduke's life came early in the day, near the Kumuria Bridge. One of the young conspirators, Nedeljko Chabrinović, hurled a bomb at the approaching motorcade. The bomb, however, was poorly timed. It bounced off the folded-back roof of the Archduke's car and exploded beneath the vehicle following behind, injuring several people and causing a minor disruption. Chabrinović, realizing his failure, swallowed a cyanide pill, a weak one, it turned out, and then jumped into the shallow Miljacka River. He was quickly apprehended by the authorities, his plot seemingly foiled. The initial attack, though unsuccessful, cast a pall over the rest of the day's events. The Archduke, shaken but unharmed, insisted on continuing with the planned itinerary. However, the mood had shifted. Security was tightened, and the route was altered to ensure a swifter passage through the city. The original plan was to visit the hospital to tend to those injured by the bomb. This deviation from the planned route, a seemingly minor adjustment, would prove to be the fatal miscalculation. After the reception at the town hall, the Archduke decided to proceed to the hospital. The drivers of the motorcade, however, were not fully briefed on the altered route. As the procession made its way, the lead car, carrying the mayor and the chief of police, took a wrong turn down Franz Josef Street, deviating from the planned course that would have kept them on the Appel Quay. It was a moment of confusion, a ripple in the carefully orchestrated flow of events. The Archduke's car followed, and as the driver realized the mistake, he began to slow down, intending to reverse. This unintended stop, this brief pause in the heart of the city, placed the Archduke's vehicle directly in the path of another of the young assassins. Gavrilo Princip, a 19-year-old Bosnian Serb, had been stationed further down the Appel Quay, his own hopes of striking a blow seemingly dashed after the earlier failed attempt. He had likely moved from his original position, perhaps seeking a better vantage point, or simply out of a desperate hope for another chance. He was standing near a delicatessen, perhaps grabbing a sandwich, when he saw the Archduke's car come to a halt mere feet away. In that frozen instant, fate, or perhaps a series of improbable coincidences, converged. The open car, the unexpected stop, the proximity of the assassin. It was a confluence of circumstances that no one could have predicted. Princip, seizing the opportunity that had inexplicably presented itself, stepped forward. He raised his pistol, aiming with a steady hand. 2 shots rang out, sharp and distinct, cutting through the ambient noise of the city. The first struck Sophie, the Archduke's wife, in the abdomen. The second found its mark in the Archduke's neck. The Archduke, realizing the gravity of the situation, famously asked, "Sophie, Sophie, don't die, live for our children." But it was too late. Both he and his wife succumbed to their wounds shortly after. Principe was immediately overwhelmed by the crowd and apprehended. His act, though carried out by a single individual, was the culmination of a complex web of nationalist aspirations and political tensions. The assassination was not a spontaneous act of madness, but a calculated, albeit flawed, attempt to strike at the heart of an empire that many in the region resented. The news of the Archduke's assassination sent shockwaves across Europe. Austria-Hungary, already wary of Serbian ambitions, saw this as an intolerable act of aggression, a direct challenge to its authority. The empire, backed by its powerful ally Germany, issued a harsh ultimatum to Serbia, demanding concessions that were designed to be unacceptable. Serbia, while condemning the assassination, could not fully comply with the demands without compromising its sovereignty. This failure to meet Austria-Hungary's terms provided the pretext for war. On July 28, 1914, exactly a month after the assassination, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. The intricate system of alliances that had been meticulously constructed across Europe over decades then came into play. Russia, a protector of Slavic nations, mobilized its forces in support of Serbia. Germany, bound by treaty to Austria-Hungary, declared war on Russia and then on France, Russia's ally. Britain, initially hesitant, was drawn into the conflict when Germany invaded neutral Belgium, a violation of international law that London could not ignore. What began as a regional dispute, a localized act of political violence in the Balkans, rapidly escalated into a global conflagration. The shot at Sarajevo, a single tragic moment, had indeed unleashed forces that no one could fully control. The complex interplay of nationalism, imperialism, and a rigid alliance system, all set in motion by the desperate act of a young man, plunged the world into the Great War, a conflict that would reshape continents, topple empires, and claim millions of lives. The summer of 1914, which began with the promise of imperial spectacle, ended with the grim reality of a world irrevocably changed, all because of a wrong turn, a stalled car, and 2 fatal shots fired on a quiet Sarajevo street.